Welcome to RECAPLY X, your movie recap in a flash. We bring the drama, the action, and the twists in minutes. The series begins with paramedics rushing to save someone, and we learn that a large car has been in an accident. A young man appears and goes to help them, but he is shocked to find out that he was the one in the accident, and his body is lying on the ground. It becomes clear that he is dead. The paramedics try to save him and take him to the ambulance. His friend arrives and rides with the ambulance, devastated. He tries to talk to them, saying he is fine, but no one can see or hear him. To understand what happened, we flash back 4 hours earlier. We learn that the young man, named Song, is still a high school student but is failing and never does anything useful in his life. He skips class and relaxes on the rooftop. His friend comes to call him, saying the teacher is looking for him, but he doesn't want to listen to her. She forces him to attend class. Meanwhile, we see a group of students bullying a classmate, forcing him to give them money. When the leader of the bullies hits him and takes his wallet, Song arrives and defends the student. He punches the bully, breaking his nose, and retrieves the money. However, the teacher sees this and assumes Song is the one bullying and stealing. The teacher scolds him, saying he doesn't deserve to be in school, but Song doesn't care. He gives the money back to the student and leaves. At home, we learn that Song lives with his stepmother, who constantly tells him he's a failure and should drop out of school because he'll never succeed. Song ignores her and leaves the house. Outside, he encounters a group of students who want to fight him. He tells them he's not in the mood for a fight today, but they insist. Song ends up teaching them a lesson, overpowering them completely. He takes down their leader and warns him not to mess with him again. The leader vows to take revenge one day, but it's revealed that despite their hostility, they are somewhat friends. Song then goes to the market and sees a young boy playing with a ball. He returns the ball to the boy, who thanks him. It's clear that Song is kind-hearted, even if he doesn't show it. He enters a restaurant to eat, and his friend joins him. When her classmates see Song, they get scared and leave the restaurant. She talks to him, telling him there are rumors that he bullies students. She asks him to defend himself, saying, "I know you're kind, and would never do that." He replies, "Let them say whatever they want. It doesn't matter." Suddenly, there's a loud noise, and they see a large car veering off the road and into the market. People panic and run, but Song notices the boy from earlier running to retrieve his ball. Song rushes to save the boy, pushing him out of the way just in time, but the car hits Song, killing him. We return to the present. Song realizes he died in the accident. Suddenly, a girl named Tota appears out of nowhere and tells him, "You didn't completely die." She introduces herself as a reaper of souls and shows him a card with his information. She tells him he's stubborn, reckless, and quick to anger. Song gets irritated and doesn't let her finish speaking. He goes to check on the boy he saved and is relieved to see he's okay. He starts walking around casually, unaffected by the fact that he's dead. Tota tells him he's not going to the afterlife or hell, but instead, she's taking him to the spirit world to explain everything. She opens a magical portal and takes him through it. They ride a boat across a river, and Song is shocked by what's happening. They arrive in a strange place where they meet the king of spirits. Song is surprised to see that the king looks young. The king tells Song he will bring him back to life on one condition. He must work as a spirit investigator, solving cases related to demons. The king shows him what these creatures look like, resembling locust-like insects, and explains that they exist in the human world. Song's task is to discover why they are there and capture them. The king is confident Song will agree because it means returning to life, but Song shocks him by refusing. He says he doesn't like being ordered around and believes everyone will be happy he's gone. He leaves, surprising the king, as he's the first person to refuse a chance to return to life. Tota talks to Song, advising him not to make a decision until he attends his funeral to see if people are truly happy about his death. Song agrees and decides to go. At the funeral, he sees the student he saved buying flowers for his grave, but the bullies attack the student and take his money. Song is angered by their actions, but happy the student remembers him. He also sees the boy he saved attending the funeral with his mother. The boy expresses his gratitude to Song, not knowing he sacrificed his life to save him. The boy's mother hugs him, crying, which deeply affects Song. He also sees his friend crying in front of his picture, regretting their arguments and wishing he could come back. Even his stepmother, who always called him a failure, is crying, realizing he was a hero. Seeing how much everyone cared for him, Song feels moved and starts wanting to return to life. Meanwhile, the bullies continue beating the student mercilessly. No one is there to defend him, and one of the bullies approaches him with malicious intent. Suddenly, the locust-like creature appears and enters the student's body through his ear. The student's body begins to convulse, emitting terrifying sounds, and he attacks one of the bullies, shocking everyone. The leader of the bullies hears the commotion and rushes to the scene, only to find the student attacking them with inhuman strength. Their motorcycle overturns, spilling gasoline on the ground. A fire starts due to a lighter, and the bullies flee in fear. The leader arrives, stunned by what he sees. At the same time, Song is standing by his friend, who is asleep. He wipes her tears to comfort her, but it was as if she felt him, and even though she couldn't see, she would wake up from sleep and keep calling out to him, asking him to come back. Song leaves and goes to Tota, telling her that he agrees to become a soul investigator. Naturally, she's thrilled by his words, and goes to the King of Souls to tell him what happened. However, he reveals that it all started long ago. He must return to life because there's a soul near his home, and his body is in danger. At that time, his stepmother notices that Song is breathing, but the fire reaches the house. The neighbors quickly rescue her and get her out of the house, but she insists on going back, saying that Song is still alive and she wants to save him. No one believes her and thinks she's hallucinating, but his friend doesn't doubt what's happening, saying she's sure he's alive. She risks her life and enters the house. Here, Song arrives, shocked by what she's doing and worried about her. He tries to get her to leave and leave him, but she doesn't hear him. She hugs his body to protect him from the fire. The ceiling collapses on them, but our hero saves her and carries her out. The King of Souls sees what's happening and begs Song to help him save her, because if she dies, he won't have a reason to return to life. Song agrees to follow all his commands. The King of Souls agrees and reminds him of the oath he made. He uses his power and casts a spell on him, bringing him back to life. Song wakes up, unable to believe his eyes, and finds his friend unconscious from the smoke. He carries her out of the house. His stepmother is shocked to see him, but he leaves her with his friend, saying he'll explain everything later. Right now, there are people he needs to save. He leaves and goes to the place where the creature is. The king tells him this is his first mission, to defeat the creature and save the city. Song arrives at the location and is shocked to find the creature controlling the student he saved. The student attacks the bullies and burns them with fire. They try to attack him together, but he has immense power, knocking them all to the ground with one move. One of the bullies tries to put out the fire, but the student attacks him from behind with a stick and approaches to finish him off. The bully thinks it's the end for him, but suddenly, Song arrives just in time and saves him, hitting the creature and pushing it away. He tries to talk to the student to bring him back to his senses, but the creature has full control over him. It pushes Song away, sending him flying. Song fights the creature with all his strength, but fails. He hears the King of Souls speaking in his ear, telling him that the only way to defeat the creature is to use his spiritual energy. Song doesn't understand anything and asks the king to teach him. The king starts explaining, but Song struggles to grasp it. Tota tells him to do the same thing he did when he tried to save his friend from the fire. Meanwhile, the creature begins to take over the student's body, transforming into a terrifying monster. Its hand turns into a blade-like weapon, and it moves swiftly across the ground. Song is shocked by what's happening and tries to escape, but the creature slashes his abdomen. Tota is terrified for him and can't see what's happening, but the king reassures her, telling her to trust Song. Song manages to tie the creature with electric wires and tries to extract the insect from it, but the creature cuts the wires with its hand and continues chasing him. The fire reaches a gas cylinder, causing a massive explosion. Song hides from the blast just in time, but falls to the ground, exhausted. The creature takes advantage of the situation and approaches him. Song speaks to the student inside, urging him to resist and return to himself. The student's voice is heard crying, and he starts to help Song. Song recalls Tota's words, gathers all his spiritual energy into his hand, and strikes the student with it. He successfully removes the parasite from the student's body, destroys it with his hand, and carries the student on his back. The next day, Song goes to the restaurant, and his friend is shocked to see him alive. She hugs him, crying with joy. Tota is happy he succeeded in his mission, but the King of Souls tells her that this was the weakest creature, and the journey ahead is still long. He tells her they must return because both the world of souls and humans are in danger. This seems to be the next mission. Each creature tries to steal a magical artifact, including a giant who steals a magical orb. There are also dragons as powerful as the giant, each with unique abilities, stealing what they desire. Later, one of the creatures is seen in the human world, sitting in a park holding a magical orb. A child notices him and asks about it. He laughs and says it's something special. Suddenly, a strong storm occurs, causing all the children to faint and fall to the ground. It turns out the magical orb absorbs their souls and traps them inside. The King of Souls summons Song to train him to use spiritual energy and fight the creatures, but Song struggles to control it. Suddenly, the king sees what happened in the park and realizes the creatures have started their plan to take over the world. Song visits the hospital and sees the children in comas. He feels sorry for them and wants to help. He asks Tota to tell him where the creatures are so he can defeat them and return the children's souls. Tota tells him it's impossible because he's still weak. Song encounters the bullies, who thank him for saving their lives and ask how he defeated the student. Song, unable to lie, tells them he died and the King of Souls brought him back to defeat the evil creatures with his spiritual energy. Tota is shocked by his honesty and takes him out of the hospital. The bullies are confused by his words, thinking he's hallucinating due to medication. However, one of them realizes he's the only one who can see Tota, confirming that Song is telling the truth. Tota tells Song about the creature with the magical orb, explaining that it's the most dangerous one because it feeds on children's souls and no one knows its location. Song dismisses her words, saying he'll eat first to gain strength to defeat it. At the restaurant, he meets the child he saved, who's happy to see him and thanks him for what he did. However, the child is sad, saying his friends are in comas and he has no one to play with. Song is shocked by his words and suspects the creature is responsible. He decides to investigate. When he arrives, he sees a child faint and confirms the creature is nearby. He searches for it until he finds it, but the creature tries to escape. Song chases after it, leading to a car scrapyard. He sees the magical orb on the ground and approaches to take it, but suddenly, the creature transforms into a massive monster and attacks him from behind, telling Song he's a weak human who will be defeated in seconds. The creature's strength is so immense that it crushes a car with one blow. Song is shocked by its power and says, "If it touches me, I'm done for." So he tries to avoid his strikes as much as possible. He keeps dodging between cars and attempts to hit him, using his street fighting skills. But the creature rips off a car door and throws it at him. Song manages to jump over it and avoids it at the last moment. He hides and realizes that the only way to defeat him is to use his spiritual energy. He tries to gather his power in his hand as the king instructed, but he fails. The creature senses him and attacks, grabbing him and hitting him with all its strength, breaking his face bones. It lifts him into the air and starts strangling him to finish him off. Song feels dizzy and knows his end is near. But suddenly, the child he saved appears and throws the orb at the creature, telling it to leave him alone. The creature admires the child's bravery and says, "Fine, I'll absorb your soul instead. I love souls like yours." It grabs the magical ball and approaches the child to feed on him. Song tries to stop it, grabbing its leg and telling the child to run, but the creature throws him away, and unfortunately, it absorbs the child's soul. Song becomes furious at what happened and loses his temper, attacking the creature and gathering all his energy into his hands. Forming an energy gun, he shoots the creature, successfully defeating it and destroying it. The magical ball falls to the ground, releasing the souls of all the children, which return to their bodies. Everyone wakes up, unable to believe what happened. The child also regains consciousness and finds Song hugging him, thanking him for saving his life for the second time. Song is happy that the child is okay and succeeds in his mission. Later that night, we see a dangerous businessman who has kidnapped a girl and locked her in a box. We learn she is not an ordinary girl, but from a family of spirits. He did this because her tears turn into diamonds, which are valuable to them. He is delighted and plans to sell her. However, his driver approaches the girl, treats her wounds, applies a medical patch, and asks her to endure because he plans to help her escape soon. He does this because he has fallen in love with her. She's surprised by his kindness and asks why he is helping her. He responds, saying he has a sister her age and would never allow anyone to treat her the way she is being treated. She is happy with his words and thanks him. The next day, Song talks to Tota and learns from her about the next creature. She tells him that the creature has a magical artifact in the shape of a mirror that can grant any wish he desires. Therefore, they must defeat him before the full moon because a catastrophe could occur, killing many humans, as the magical artifact only activates during this time. Meanwhile, a bully overhears their conversation and is shocked, especially when Tota disappears, realizing she is not human. However, he does not react abnormally and goes to Song to help locate the creature. He follows him to a hospital and enters behind him. The creature reveals that he will return the mirror after fulfilling his wish. He explains that his mother is gravely ill and he wants to heal her. Song is shocked by what he hears. Afterwards, Song exits the hospital and talks to the creature, who tells him he has lived among humans for 20 years, hiding in the old woman's house to regain his strength. However, he was touched by her kindness and decided to stay with her. He discovered that he developed emotions like humans and wanted to save the woman to repay her kindness. Song is moved by his words. Tota, who is with them, learns that the creature has a good heart and sympathizes with him. She meets with Song and tells him something he doesn't know. The magical mirror, unfortunately, takes the life of the person who makes the wish. She reveals that tonight is the night of the full moon. Song is shocked by her words. They rush to save the creature, but suddenly, the bully leader appears. Knowing everything happening, he asks Song to let the creature die, believing all creatures are evil and should not be helped. However, Song disagrees, saying the creature has a kind heart and did everything to save a human. He goes to help him. At that moment, the creature stands before his mother, promising to save her. When the moon is full, he uses the magical mirror and wishes for his mother to live happily. The mirror grants his wish, but pulls him inside. Song arrives, trying to save him, but the bully tries to stop him out of fear. Song pushes him aside and enters the mirror. He talks to the creature, asking him to reconsider, but the creature refuses, saying all he wants is for his mother to live happily. Song tells him that his mother will never be happy, knowing he sacrificed himself. She will live with regret and sadness, unable to forgive herself. The creature remains unconvinced and decides to sacrifice himself. Song is forced to help him. They both return to the human world, but this time, each with half their lifespan. The mother wakes up healed and is overjoyed that her son stayed by her side. The creature is happy to see her health improve and thanks Song, deciding to spend the rest of his life with her in peace. The bully is moved by what happened, realizes he was wrong, and apologizes to Song. Song dismisses his apology. At this point, we see a three-eyed creature standing on a high place. We learn he is a ninja using his third eye to locate someone in a car. He jumps off the building and chases the person, stopping in front of the car and successfully slicing it in half with one strike of his sword. He approaches and takes the bag the person was carrying, revealing it contains diamond tears from the girl. The businessman is furious when he learns they were stolen and calls the mysterious person who bought the girl, named Huang. Huang reassures him and asks him to come to the island. promising to protect him. He tells him to make the girl cry more diamond tears. When the call ends, it is revealed that Huang has creatures assisting him. He orders one of them to retrieve the magical dagger from the ninja creature. Song is forced to go to the businessman's mansion because the creature is heading there to free the imprisoned girl. Song sees him fighting the guards and confronts him, asking him to return the dagger. The creature refuses and warns Song to stay out of his way, or he will regret it. But Song is stubborn. He refuses and attacks the creature with all his strength. However, the creature's speed is unnatural, easily dodging all his strikes. It draws its sword, placing it on Song's neck, but spares his life, calling him a weak human, and leaves. Later, we see the businessman in a helicopter with the girl's cage, heading to an isolated island. He meets Huang there, who assures him he will be safe. Huang takes him inside the mansion, where many other businessmen are gathered, and says that they are just coming to ask questions, nothing more. They enter a secret laboratory and watch many mutated creatures. We learn that he gathers them to make them kill each other in front of the rich people. At that time, they will bet and put money, and whoever wins will take the money. Of course, no one benefits from all this, except the project owner. They tell him to trust it and make him watch a fight between a mutated monster and the creature that helps him. The monster is predatory and large, but the creature is confident, saying he only uses 10% of his strength. He attacks the monster and defeats it with one strike, surprising the businessman with what happened. He tells him, "I have many creatures like him that obey my orders. This is just one of them, and he will protect you from any danger." Then they transfer the girl to a separate cell, but they are surprised to find the cage empty. It turns out that the driver helping her is the one who helped her escape. He takes her and leaves the palace, wanting to board the plane to escape. But suddenly, a creature from Huang's guards appears. Although he is short and seemingly insignificant, when the driver tries to shoot him with a gun, he is shocked to see the creature heal itself. Nothing affects it. Then the creature pulls out weapons from its hands and easily finishes him off. The girl is shocked by what she sees, crying out of fear and sadness that the man died because of her. Huang succeeds in taking her diamond tears, delighting the businessman, but he sees an image of Song and the ninja creature and learns that they attacked his palace. He asks Huang to eliminate them, and Huang agrees, saying he will assign his creatures to this task. Meanwhile, Song becomes frustrated because he was easily defeated by the ninja creature. He asks Tota to help him surpass its speed. She is happy that he finally agreed to train and says she will take him to a martial arts expert who can help him improve his skills. The bully overhears them and insists on coming along. Tota reluctantly agrees to take him. They go to a house in the mountains and meet an old woman who says she will train them. Of course, our protagonist mocks her, thinking she's just an ordinary old lady. She takes Song to the training area and tells him to use his spiritual energy and stand on his hands for 12 hours. However, he fails to stand for even 5 seconds and tells her it's impossible. He doubts her strength and starts mocking her, calling her an old woman. To prove her strength, she asks him to attack her with all his might. But she's a fast ninja. He can't even touch her as she keeps dodging his attacks in mid-air. With one strike, she knocks him to the ground, forcing him to respect her. At the same time, the bully is tasked with breaking a large rock using a wooden sword. Despite the challenge, he doesn't give up and keeps trying, even though the sword keeps breaking. He remains persistent, impressing the old woman with his determination. She tells Song that the bully could surpass him and become stronger. Song feels jealous of her words, refusing to be defeated, and decides to give his all in training. Meanwhile, we see the creature with the mirror talking to the ninja creature. From their conversation, we learn that the kidnapped girl is the ninja's sister, which is why he is searching for her and wants to rescue her. He asks the ninja to give the dagger to Song, saying it will help him, but the ninja refuses, not recognizing Song's strength. Later, we see Wang in the secret laboratory, and we learn that he wants to create a portal connecting the human world to the demon world. The scientist tells him they need a lot of money for experiments and tests, and Wang assures him he will arrange the funds. Returning to Song, who is still training but failing to stand on his hands for more than an hour, the old woman asks him to give up. "From the moment I saw you, I knew you wouldn't make it," she says. But when he steps outside, he is surprised to see the bully still training, his hands covered in wounds from the countless wooden swords he used and broke. Despite this, he doesn't give up and continues training. All of this is because he has witnessed the creature's strength and couldn't protect his team from them last time, resulting in everyone being injured because of him. Inspired, Song uses all his spiritual energy, successfully channeling it into the sword. He strikes the rock, managing to break it this time. Seeing this motivates Song to continue his training. "From today, I must become stronger," he declares. After 20 days of training, the old woman enters and is surprised to see that he has completed his training and can stand on his hands for an entire day. She realizes his strength has increased and takes him with her to test him. She asks him to gather all his spiritual energy in his hand. Song focuses and gathers the energy, forming it into a gun in his hand. Everyone is amazed by the amount of energy he possesses. When he fires it into the sky, it takes the shape of a large arrow, reaching the clouds. Meanwhile, one of Wang's guards senses this energy, locates its source, and laughs, deciding to go after him. Unfortunately, the old woman also senses his arrival and prepares for his nighttime visit. She goes to Song, expressing her confidence in him, and decides to make him her successor. She transfers all her spiritual energy to him as she has grown old and asks him to continue her path. "Your training is over, now leave," she says. Song thanks her for everything she has done and promises to visit her again before leaving. But at night, Wang's guard arrives. The old woman is waiting for him, and it turns out they know each other. They were students together 50 years ago. We learn that he was human like her, but merged with a creature to gain immortality and remain young. He challenges her to a fight to eliminate her. Unfortunately, this creature has immense strength, capable of enhancing his physical and spiritual energy to staggering levels. The old woman is shocked and saddened by him, unable to do anything against him. Later, we see Song in a restaurant. His girlfriend approaches him, saying she was worried about him, but he reassures her that he was training. After finishing, he leaves, and she follows him to give him an umbrella. It starts raining, and suddenly, the ninja creature appears and disappears. Song sees it and chases after it to save it, continuing to search until he finds it. He asks about his girlfriend, but the creature says it doesn't know anything about her. Song decides to fight it, and they clash. The ninja is surprised by Song's increased strength and speed. Meanwhile, we see Song's girlfriend imprisoned. We learn that one of Wang's guards, who can change his form, kidnapped her to create a conflict between them. Their plan is successful, as the two continue fighting each other. Their strength, but the being with the mirror arrives, stops them, and tells them they have been deceived. He explains everything, and asks them to cooperate as a trio to rescue the ninja's sister and Song's friend. They agree and decide to head to Huang's island to free them. They encounter the bully, who insists on joining them. When they reach the port, they find Huang's ship waiting for them, and one of his men accuses Huang of challenging them. He says if they defeat his guards, he will release the hostages. They are forced to accept the challenge and board the ship. Song is worried about his friend, but someone reassures him that she is fine. Meanwhile, we see a guard putting on his clothes after finishing a fight with the old woman, who is lying on the ground. It becomes clear that he has defeated her. We also learn that he has invited a large number of businessmen to watch the battles and place bets. News of the old woman's death reaches the King of Spirits, but he refuses to tell Songja so that he can stay focused on his mission. Later, Songja and his team separate on the island, with the ninja splitting off to search for his sister. The three continue their journey and enter a warehouse, where suddenly a masked being from Huang's guards appears and challenges them to a fight. Songji wants to kill him, but one of his companions tells him to go find his friend while he handles the masked being. Songji agrees, saying he trusts him, and leaves. Meanwhile, the ninja encounters a massive armored being wielding an axe, who warns him to stay out of his way. The ninja fights him fiercely and ultimately defeats him. Businessmen are now watching the battles, thoroughly entertained and placing large bets. The fights turn the area into a battlefield, with everyone using their full strength to win. At the same time, Songja continues his path, and the bully decides to split up to search for their friend more quickly. She is actually imprisoned near the ninja's sister. She notices the girl has a wound on her hand, uses her powers to heal her, and is deeply moved by her kindness, thanking her. She is confident that Songja will rescue them and knows they will be freed soon. Elsewhere, the plant-based being uses all its strength to fight the masked monster, but remains too weak. It decides to transform into its true form, turning into a demonic fox with a magical predatory flower that attacks anyone who comes near. It warns the masked being to withdraw, but he refuses. They engage in battle, and the flower deflects all the masked being's attacks, nearly killing him. However, the plant being's energy runs out, and it reverts to its original form, leaving it vulnerable. The masked being is about to defeat it. He has a magical, predatory flower that attacks anyone who gets close to him. He warns the masked being and asks him to
Withdraw, but he refuses and goes and attacks him. But the flower blocks all his blows and holds him. It was about to kill him, but suddenly his energy ends, and he returns to his normal form. He was about to defeat him, but now you are destined to die. Let's go to our ninja friend, who uses all his strength to injure his opponent and forces the one who was taking off the armor he was wearing. His speed increases, and it turns out that all of this was a joke. The monster in front of him was not using any of his energy. We go to his hero friend, who is pretending to be sick and talking. The guard enters to see her, but she takes advantage of the opportunity and strangles him until he faints. She takes the key from him and succeeds in getting out of prison and goes to free the ninja's sister. But she refuses because she is afraid. She hurts her because the guard unfortunately died because of her while he was trying to help her. She decides to give up and stay here so that no one gets hurt because of her. But her friend Song refuses to give her up. She tells her that she won't go without her and tells her to come with her. She is affected by her words and agrees. They keep walking, but they feel that there is someone very close to them. He thinks of one of Wang's guards and immediately beats him up, but he laughs and says that he is the bully and is happy that they are fine. But when he sees his ninja sister, he gets impressed by her and her beauty and is reassured that he came with her brother so that he saves her. At that time, the ninja feels that he is defeated, so he throws all his strength and undo the ribbon on his hand, and a dark, demonic energy comes out of it. He attacks the creature and is sure that he defeats it. The creature asks him to finish it off, but the ninja refuses and leaves and walks away, and we see the one who is their friend. The creature endures the violent blows from the masked man and enjoys being tortured. He approaches him to finish him off, but he is surprised when a flower gets in his body, and the creature takes advantage of the opportunity and casts a magic spell on him. Here, flowers begin to grow in his body. One of them pierces his heart, and the story of the masked man ends. The businessmen, who had been watching the fights and losing their bets, are still entertained by the events. Meanwhile, the bully tries to escape with his companions, but suddenly, a transformed monster appears and chases them. They try to flee, and the bully distracts the monster to save the two girls. He grabs a stick and fights the monster while the girls hide in an armored pot. The bully manages to get inside at the last moment, and they lock the door, trying to escape. However, a shape-shifting being awaits them. The bully tries to attack it with the stick, but is shocked when it has no effect. Song is searching for them, but hears Huang speaking through a microphone, challenging him to win a fight to free everyone. A being who had defeated the old woman becomes his opponent. The businessmen place billion-dollar bets on the fight, expecting the being to win and Song to lose. Meanwhile, Huang receives news from a scientist in the lab, who tells him he has succeeded in opening the gate to the demon world. Huang is overjoyed and begins laughing. The battle between Song and the being begins. Song tries to attack and strike him, but the being is unaffected. It pushes him, and he falls to the ground. The being possesses unnatural strength and speed, leaping great distances and breaking the ground with a single strike. Even the businessmen are terrified of its power and flee the scene. No one can control it. At that moment, the bully tries to kill the being. The shapeshifter, however, turns out to be stronger than him, and he can't defeat it, forcing his companion to strike the creature to snap it out of its rage. The creature becomes furious at her, approaching as if to kill her, but the bully remembers his friends and how he couldn't protect them before. Time rewinds again, and he refuses to let anyone get hurt in front of him. He gathers his spiritual energy into the form of a sword, attacks the creature, and successfully cuts it, celebrating his victory. But the shock comes when the creature, being immortal, reassembles itself and returns once more, attacking the bully and stunning everyone with what happened. Will he die now? At that moment, the King of Spirits creates a magical barrier to prevent creatures from entering the human world. However, he realizes the barrier won't last and goes to warn Huang, telling him that what he's doing will destroy the human world. Huang replies that this is exactly what he wants. Meanwhile, Song fights the monster, but unfortunately can't approach it because his energy is weak in comparison. The monster throws an iron gate at him, which could have ended him, but the ninja arrives just in time and breaks it with his sword. He decides to team up with Song and their Friao.
Friends, sharing the common goal of defeating the creature. They start attacking it, each using their own powers, but the creature is a ferocious beast, blocking all their attacks and slamming them into the ground. It grabs Song, intending to finish him off, but his friends intervene to stop it, trying to restrain it. Song seizes the opportunity to use his famous spiritual energy gun technique. They think they've defeated it, but to their shock, it remains alive and unaffected by the attack. They realize it's impossible to defeat it. Then, the shape-shifting creature appears among them, revealing that the old woman had died and chose a weak person like the hero to inherit her power. As it laughs mockingly, the giant monster grows tired of it, saying, "I told you not to laugh. I'm bored of you." It grabs the shapeshifter, and suddenly he dies and disappears, even his companion no longer caring for him. Everyone is stunned by the death of their trainer. The bully attacks the creature with his sword, angry, but the creature blocks the attack, knocking him to the ground and choking him with its foot. Song witnesses what's happening and recalls the old woman's words to him, saying she trusted him and asked him to protect his friends. Refusing to let anyone get hurt, he gathers all his strength and attacks the creature, pushing it away from his companion. He begins to use the power he was unaware of, the power he inherited from the old woman. He delivers rapid strikes with his hands and feet, successfully knocking it down. He literally smashes it into the ground, and everyone is astonished by the incredible power the hero has gained. They think he's defeated it, but suddenly, the ground beneath them collapses, and the creature reappears in its true form. It tells Song, "I admit your strength. You're the first person to force me to use all my energy." It possesses such immense power that no one can even touch it, deflecting Song's attacks while standing still. Approaching him, it grabs him by the neck and lifts him into the air with one hand, saying that its secret to power is rage and that it needs to see a loved one in danger to use it. "I want you to fight me with all your strength," it says, as it approaches his companion, intending to finish her off. But the bully stands in its way, protecting her with his body, taking the blow in her place, and falling to the ground, looking at Song. He asks him to defeat the creature. Shocked by what happened, Song loses control of himself and suddenly disappears, reappearing in front of the creature and striking it with a blow that sends it flying. He declares that he won't allow it to harm anyone he cares about, gathering all his energy into his hands, creating such immense power that the place begins to collapse. He directs it at the creature, which tries to block the attack, but it's too strong for it. Realizing its end has come, it thanks Song for fulfilling its wish and allowing it to use all its power. It falls to the ground, and its spirit begins to fade away. We learn that the creature had always wanted to die, because as a child, it witnessed all its companions tragically die before its eyes. From then on, it decided it needed immense power to protect them. Over time, this power affected it, making it no longer human as it once was. It had been waiting for someone stronger to kill it, and today, our hero fulfilled its wish. Everyone is shocked by what happened, realizing they've won. The ninja's sister runs to the bully, using her power to heal him, and they rejoice that he's still alive. He apologizes for harming humans, but she tells him she knows not all of them are evil. The ninja is happy, his sister is okay, and decides to return the magical dagger. Huang is forced to close the gate since he no longer has anyone to protect it. He admits his defeat, holding the gun, and died. Song and his friends leave the place after succeeding in their mission, boarding the ship to leave the island. Song apologizes to his companion for putting her in danger, but she tells him she's not upset because she trusted he would come to save her. She thanks him, saying that because of him, she has a new friend. She decides to take the ninja's sister to live with her peacefully in the human world. Song is happy with her words and finally confesses his admiration for her. They decide to be together. After succeeding in his mission as a spirit investigator, he thanks the King of Spirits for giving him a second chance and bringing him back to life. And so, the series ends. I hope you enjoyed the events that unfolded. Although there wasn't much drama, the next period will bring destruction. All you need to do now is subscribe to the channel